Well, everyone, it's been nearly a month since the last time we made a thoughts video, haven't we? Besides the Wednesday Night War talks, the reason why I hadn't talked about anything for the past month, not because there wasn't content to talk about, there was certainly a ton of stuff I missed out on, and along with a lot of catching up I need to do for to end this year off. One of the things why I hadn't been making thoughts videos is primarily because after my Mac had updated to the new software, my OBS started acting up. It kept crashing. That's why I had to use a new recording in order to talk about the last video I talked about. Luckily, they fixed that mistake. So now we're on to this now. We're talking about Disney Plus's rise to monopoly status as the continued Mongolian Empire corporations continues its dominance over the world. We're talking about The Mandalorian. This show by John Ferreira, you know, the guy who directed the Iron Man movie, basically kickstarted the MCU. Disney hired him and was like, "We want you to produce a Star Wars TV show," which I believe I did cover about a while back. But yeah, this is The Mandalorian, which talks about the Mandalorian. Yeah, he doesn't have a name yet. They haven't revealed his face. They don't know his name. A lot of people assumed it was Boba Fett maybe coming back, or maybe they'll reveal later down the road it's gonna be Boba Fett. Or it's going to reveal Boba Fett's fate. I'm pretty sure in Disney's world he's dead to them because he's not a George Lucas creation. Therefore, because he's a George Lucas creation, therefore bringing him back would be making money off of someone else's hard work. So we can't have that. So we need to establish our own Mandalorian that's not Boba or Jango Fett. So yeah, we go on with this Mandalorian episode 1. This is chapter 1 as they call it. And basically this is a 39-minute episode on the Disney Plus app that just recently came out. And right now we got over 10 million views. It got 10 million subscribers on its first 24 hours. And I'm pretty sure certain people in the streaming industry will be like, "And I said we were going to be as big as Disney," are currently slamming their heads in the wall because they just realized how absurd that comment was. And I'm not mentioning names, but I must stress it was someone who's a lot like her dad in some ways and thinks she created women's wrestling. I think you already know who we're talking about. So yeah, The Mandalorian was said to be having a budget of $100 million, and it was said that George Lucas even helped out, proving once again why George Lucas is like that father who wants to hang out with their kid even though the parents are divorced and the father and the former wife went ahead and remarried and now is raising the kid, and the dad wants and the real dad wants to come in and help raise the kid as well, but the other dad doesn't like it. Yeah. Those meetings must be awkward considering what Bob Iger revealed regarding how Disney kind of stabbed Lucas in the back. So I bet those meetings were awkward and they were just trying to look good for the cameras. And there were some things in here that I'm pretty sure upset George Lucas. Specifically, notice on behind the Mandalorian's back in that image, they have the gun from the Star Wars Holiday Special. And I'm pretty sure that wasn't going to upset him in any way. You know, the same guy that said if he could, if he had time, he would get a sledgehammer and smash every copy he could find. Yeah, I'm sure that's not going to bring up bad memories of the past. Yeah, when I found out that was they were using the gun during production, I was like, yeah, this is not gonna end well for George, isn't it? He's probably gonna have a freak out and go ahead on a huge rant afterwards about how Disney ruined him and basically ruined his glorious vision. But we're not here to talk about the past, even though it would be really fun to talk about and speculate about what went on with the political stuff for Disney. But yeah. Sorry, I had to turn something off to get the lighting right. So yeah, okay, so The Mandalorian, in only a couple minutes, I felt I could relate more to the Mandalorian who has no face, no identity, no established personalities than I have so far with Rey in 2 movies. Seriously, what's her backstory again? She lived on Jakku. Um, what are her likes and dislikes? She dreams like the only thing we got was that she wanted to go beyond Jakku, yet was bounded somehow, was feeling obligated to stay. But then that was resolved in episode 7, and then never got, and then nothing, and then like she wanted to know her family, that was resolved, and now we don't know where to put her. I don't even know what her true backstory is like. It could have been all alive for all we know. And yet this Mandalorian character makes me say, Mandalorians are awesome, and I believe they should be a staple in Star Wars again, like they were back in the Legends era. And technically still are, knowing that the Old Republic game still having stuff being made for it. So yeah, so after that we get a grotesque scene where he basically sliced a guy in half using a door. Kids show. I'm sure the kids love that. Yeah, they don't actually show. They show the body being severed, but they don't show the other side, which would have been hilariously disgusting, but, Disney can't have that. Unless it involves Anakin, in which case nostalgia is bonus. So, yeah. Yeah, so this episode was actually fairly good. I really enjoyed it. It felt like I was watching a short Star Wars film. In fact, really, it could have been a short Star Wars film. Just the fact that we're getting multiple episodes and there's going to be a season 2, and Jon Favreau was busy at the time, so he just wrote up some stuff. He didn't really direct anything. In fact, Dave Filoni directed this first episode, and when it's Dave Filoni, it's actually guaranteed to be great. Mainly because of his experience with Clone Wars and how he actually loves Rebels and how he should have been the guy in charge of Lucasfilms instead of the person who thinks women can't identify with Han Solo or Luke Skywalker because they're men. Even though they had vulnerabilities and whatnot, but who cares about character development? Anyways, back to the Mandalorian. So yeah, I was thinking like this mission was gonna be your standard bounty hunter who works alone and whatnot, and is gonna get a crew together. It was gonna be told get a crew together and go on a mission and whatnot. Surprisingly, they didn't do that in the first outing because that would have been generic as all hell. If anything, he kills that trope right out of the gate when he teams up with an IG droid, voiced by the guy who directed the Thor movie. I refuse to try and pronounce his name. Who also, voiced everyone's favorite lovable character from Avengers Endgame and Avengers and Thor Ragnarok. I meant, that guy, Korg. Oh man, I was like, this is gonna be hilarious. So yeah, it's not IG-88. I initially thought it was gonna be IG-88, even though, let's be real, there's 100 million models of it probably of the IGs, but everyone just remembers IG-88. But it's not it. It's another droid that apparently does not understand sarcasm or lying. So, yeah, let's have a droid that doesn't understand that. That makes C-3PO obsolete in some cases. So, yeah. The Mandalorian goes ahead, gets credits, has a job to go do, and basically you think he's told you're gonna have to kill this thing that we're after. It's 50 years old. And then, after they had... we also get some... They're saying he's supposed to have questionable ethics, like he has a questionable morality. I'm not 100% sure how accurate that is because of how he acts at the end of the episode. Or is this supposed to be the beginning of a character development for him? But the Mandalorian seems to be much more polite than a lot of other people in the Star Wars universe. Like, he goes ahead and doesn't, strangle the Ugnaught when he arrives. If anything, he thinks at first he could solve everything with violence, but then the Ugnaught goes ahead and basically shows that, oh, no, there's other ways you can tame the creatures. And then they talk about the tales of the Mandalorians, and I'm just left wondering, telling these stories are fascinating, but can we get that Mandalorian War movie we've been hoping for the last, I don't know, years? Like, even Modders made a video game based off of the Mandalorian Wars, and that was awesome. At least from what I've heard. So, and then you got him trying to pay the Ugnaught for his services, for helping, saying he deserves it, saying, no, take it. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, is this the questionable ethics I'm trying to get here? Like, this Mandalorian is a lot nicer than a lot of stubborn Mandalorians. Heck, Sabine had stubborn moments and could be at times a little selfish. And then quickly gets resolved in the same episode instead of building an arc out of it. Okay. But yeah, and some people actually did think we were going to probably see Sabine, or maybe, and since this is in the far reaches outside the New Republic, it could possibly work. Or it could have Ahsoka, because everyone wants to see Ahsoka in live action now. But, yeah, I was thinking, like, if they did show Sabine and Ahsoka, then that would be pretty convenient. I mean, like, granted, Dave Filoni's on board with this project, so it's a possibility. But the main reason why I don't think they're going to show up in this is primarily because... Here's how the best way to describe it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're in the unknown regions. They're just out in a lawless sector of the galaxy, not the unknown regions of space. And probably killed by Snoke by now, but that's beside the point. But yeah, or at least with the Ghost confirmed to be in Episode 9 and possibly piloted by Jason Sindula. Okay. So, you got this Mandalorian who we don't know his real name, we don't know anything. They say he has questionable ethics, but clearly so far has been kind of a relatively nice guy, for the most part. I'm like, we're supposed to get some sinister vibe from him when we see a hall of carbonized people, which was really awesome and dark. And then he puts the person he got at the beginning of the episode in a carbon prison and frozen in carbonite. And I was thinking to myself, okay, this is kind of awesome. And then when he helps clear out a section of bounty hunters and whatnot in this little village who've occupied it from the Ugnaught farmer and turned it into a criminal place with an IG droid that was, like I said, voiced by the director of Thor Ragnarok. They go inside this building after the droid tries to self-destruct on several occasions. And then they find this crib with the alleged 50-year-old entity. And when they opened it and revealed what was inside it, I was like, oh, fuck. 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 Well, the galaxy's screwed. It's a Yoda species creature that has no name yet. Even in Legends, they never gave a name. They kept it a mystery about what the name of the species of Yoda was. But when I saw it, I was like, shoot it. I'm like, it's 50 years old. I'm pretty sure we could shoot it. Like, even the IG droid brings up species age differently. I'm like, Yoda looks like in the human years would be like 60 or 70. But yeah, it's 900 years old. So I say go for it. I mean, like, it's not like the Yoda species has done more harm than good in terms of Yoda, Yaddle, being part of a hypocritical order that preaches more about stuff that it defies honesty, and the fact that this Force sensitive only spells further doom for the galaxy, because if Yoda actually found a way to reincarnate, which is impossible for a multitude of reasons, especially since Last Jedi happened, unless he force projected himself, which would lead to more questions. I don't really think we should count our losses with this. But of course, yes, I know I'm going morbid here. It's just that I just don't like Yoda anymore. After what happened with Rebels, and what we learned from him in Clone Wars series, and what Last Jedi did with Yoda, that made me question everything about Yoda's character and what he really represents, it just made me go all, no! Everything Yoda preaches is wrong. Most of the time. And it's confusing. And the last half is cryptic. It makes no sense. So, yeah, when I saw that, I was like, so this is the part where the IG droid dies? Yeah, it dies. Yeah, so the IG's killed. The Mandalorian says we're going to take it in instead of killing it because even he has standards. Even though he will be doing the galaxy a favor by getting rid of the Yoda spawn, probably. Because he will probably learn dogmatic views of order and political of Jediism and be a hypocrite afterwards and then condemn the galaxy to another cycle of war and death. Oh, wait, that already happened. Okay, and then the Mandalorian raises his finger, and the little Yoda creature goes ahead and gently grasps it, and I'm thinking, aw, too bad that thing's gonna destroy the galaxy one day with lies and hypocrisy of religion and dogma. But otherwise, that would have been a touching scene. So as you can tell, I kind of still blame Yoda for everything that's wrong in the sequel trilogy era of the new Disney canon. As I've already covered in my 2-hour thoughts video about the goddamn Last Jedi movie. So yeah. But besides that, and the fact that this is clearly going to go where the Mandalorian develops a soft spot for the creature. Sorry, I haven't been good at this, so I've been going off more tangent, even though it does relate to Star Wars stuff. But yeah, the fact that this is a condensed in-universe, yet on a smaller scale and less epicness, even though there was a mention, I believe, that said the reason why they weren't giving early review stuff out was because they want to keep a certain secret in that would fundamentally change the galaxy forever. Or something like that. Which I'm pretty sure is the Yoda reveal, the Yoda species creature, baby, 50 years old thing. That could be it, but I'm thinking to myself, it doesn't really need to do that. You could just have a tale about the bounty hunter. And what's the bounty hunter like, and how the bounty hunter world really works in a live action format, instead of being in a book or a comic. So, yeah, the backstory of the Mandalorian is here's the thing, the Mandalorian species is a very warrior culture. As we've seen with Sabine, or Death Watch, and then these new Mandalorians happen with the Peace Leaf. And then you had to add in all the continuity hiccups they got from that and from the Legends timeline. And then you got the Jango Fett, the clone army, even though they try to say that Jango Fett's not Mandalorian, even though he really was in the Legends timeline, but that's beside the point. In fact, doesn't Jango Fett have an ancestor that fought in the Mandalorian Wars? I think so. His last name is Fett, and was confirmed that he is in fact a descendant of that certain character in the comics. But besides the point, so to see that we're gonna get this Mandalorian portrayal, I was hoping for probably more of the warrior-like culture in him. Like, he clearly does have it. Like, everything about him screams it, especially the helmet, because the helmets are freaking awesome. My second favorite helmets in all of Star Wars. The first one being the Clone Trooper Phase 2 helmets. They're awesome, too. They're like a combination of the Republic and the Empire would eventually become. But yeah, I was really hoping to see, like, we could see more, later down the road, more of the Mandalorian's lifestyle on the live action. Like, we've always seen, really, Sabine was a little bit different from the Mandalorians, like, the art stuff, while she was still having the Mandalorian attitude at times. We never really got to see what I felt was Mandalorian style stuff, so the fact that we're centering more on the Mandalorian, I'm hoping to see, we could see more of the people of the Mandalorian, of Mandalore. But since this one's working with the remnants of the Empire, the Imperial Remnant, and also it's been said that this is also going to have a touch to explain why there's the First Order now, even though I was wondering, why does everything need to be connected to the First Order of the New Republic? Can't we just have a story about a bounty hunter who does work with the Imperial Remnant, but doesn't have, like, a massive impact on a galactic scale? Even though no one brings up this Mandalorian whatsoever unless it's a book or a comic. And of course, Disney's going to tell me to read a book or a comic, so there's that. Or play the games. In fact, I believe, let me see. Um, Disney co-chairman Alan Horn, said that there is an option to reverse engineer the series into a 2-hour film. So they're saying that, yes, this could potentially be Mandalorian, a Star Wars story. And I'm just left wondering, you're not going to do a Kenobi movie. Why make a Mandalorian movie out of this? Like, really, I kind of like it being an episodic TV series on the Disney Plus app. Plus, you need more original programming instead of 20, 10, or 30-year nostalgia. Even though it's kind of awesome at times. But yeah, so The Mandalorian Chapter 1. I really did love this, even though I don't like Yoda's characters anymore, or the fact that Yoda's species exists, still in a way that makes me think Dogma will reign once more upon the galaxy with this adorable little baby that's 50 years old. The CGI was pretty good for a $100 million budget. The practical effects were great. I loved how this Mandalorian was like. I felt like I understood more of the Mandalorian than I understood Rey at times, which is really sad when you think about it. But I understood the Mandalorian character more in 39 minutes than I had with 4.5-hour movies of Rey. And I still don't know anything about her still. I'm still largely confused. Like her backstory, how she's so good with a lightsaber. How she has the Force, so much power with the Force. And how she had all these visions in Episode 7, even though there's no ties to them now. Or who the hell Snoke is for the most part. And I had to make theories that sound more entertaining than this one. So, yeah, The Mandalorian, I'm sorry I keep going off tangents when I'm trying to talk about the damn Mandalorian series, because this last episode is really good. The first chapter is really good, and I can't wait for the rest of it when it comes out weekly instead of coming out at once. That confused me. I'm probably so used to Netflix's binge-watching strategy instead of, releasing it week by week by week by week by week like we always did in the Dark Ages. That was for joke. Anyway. So, yeah. Even Young Justice Outsiders confused me on that. I probably will talk about Young Justice Outsiders, but I have to catch up talking about the other two seasons first. So, yeah. The Mandalorian Episode 1, it was a pretty good episode. I can't wait for the rest of the series to unfold, and I really am curious to know where they go with this and how the huge impacts is going to have on this on the Star Wars galaxy, whatever that means for it. And I am curious to know what they're going to do with the Yoda creature, since he was ordered to kill it by the remnants of the Empire, by this governor and some of the 501st, as they were said to be. I was thinking to myself, would have killing it made it a much better decision, considering what could, since the First Order forms from this series apparently, or foundation is built from it. So does that mean it could lead to a disastrous moment that he probably regrets not doing the other thing? But really, we don't know. But I do get the feeling we're probably going to get a crew out of this soon, even though I kind of would love to see this guy go a lone wanderer kind of attitude for the whole season, and then do the crew thing in season 2 like they said they're going to do. Like they said they're going to do a second season. So, but we still have several episodes to work this out. We'll see how this works out. This is the Reality Entertainment. For free like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more. And I'm just glad I'm back with all this.